Hello. We are so glad that you're here with us. I want to welcome you to this introduction to the Detox outreach. This call is where we're going to just give some basic information and overview and support to those of you who are thinking about planning a detox event in your area. So we're so glad that you are watching or participating in the call. My name is Emma Reynolds. I'm the Southern Divisional Field Director, and this is Nancy.
Hi, I'm Nancy Sprowls, and I am an outreach specialist here at Stonecroft. I've been with Stonecroft about 10 years, so I'm excited to be with you. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about Detox. I was actually on the team that developed Detox, and so I'm really proud of the work that we did and the research that Stonecroft put into this. We did a lot of research with women outside of Christian circles to find out what kept them up at night. That was one of our questions that we asked in our research and in our surveys that we did. And we found out that 70% of women wanted to find balance in their life. And the things that were keeping them up were things like their eating habits and their money spending and just worried and stressed out about things. We found that worry and stress was huge. So when we looked at all this, we found that it encompassed body, mind, and spirit, how they were feeling about their bodies, their eating habits, their thinking about financial things, setting boundaries in their lives, and also the lack of rest and worry just spoke to a spiritual need. So we put together, we felt this was spirit-led, Detox, Find Your Balance. And what Detox does, it helps women discover ways to balance their lives and live more fully. And they learn to manage the stress that was huge in our research and set their lives in order. And it also helps women renew their perspective, remove unhealthy habits, and gain control. So we do this in Detox by inviting women to create a more balanced life, develop meaningful friendships at the Detox events, and explore faith in Christ. So Detox is really meant to help women explore not only their body and mind, but the spirit. And as a Christian organization, we believe that ultimately it's going to be Christ that helps set their life in order. So that's a little bit about Detox. Emma is going to talk about the experience.
To explain and help you understand experience, I guess, a detox, if you have not been to one, we do have a really fantastic video resource, but we find that when we play videos on GoToMeeting, there's sometimes a sound issue. So what I'll tell you is that there is a detox video that is absolutely fantastic, and it'll give you sort of a brief overview, and you'll see some footage of actual detox events that have been done. No two are exactly alike. So this has some examples and some samples from everything. And I would encourage you, you're going to get that link as a follow-up to this call, or you can always reach out to us to get it, or you can go to stonecroft.org/detox, and you'll find the video there as well. So I'm going to skip the video portion, but encourage you not to skip it. You go and find it and look, because it won't take much of your time. There are two avenues or experiences that you can sort of explore when you're trying to decide whether to plan, like how to plan this event or this outreach. And one of them is to have a large scale event. We have seen many different groups doing this. And essentially what this would involve is 3 to 5 breakout sessions. So you have a large event that lasts 3 to 4 hours with an introduction. You have 3 to 5 little breakout sessions focusing in on nourishing the body, the mind, and the spirit. And then there's also a healthy living expo with vendors who come and sort of mingle and connect, and they promote hopefully well-balanced, healthy living at their tables as well. But you give the women who come a chance to explore the expo and also have more, I guess, seated time, studying or experiencing, sessions on mind, body, and spirit with experts in those areas. You have an MC, like a hostess with the mostest, who will sort of greet everybody and keep the program moving along. And it's usually held, these events for Detox are usually held in a well-known community location. So you want this to be in a location where people might actually pass by on the street and say, oh yeah, I've been there before, or what are they doing over there? Like, it's neat if it's held somewhere where that gets a lot of traffic. And typically an event this size, like to maintain your sanity, typically an event this size needs to probably have like 6 to 8 planning team members, but it catches on like wildfire. Like once 1 or 2 people have a vision for this, it gets really fun and exciting, and it's really easy to like recruit volunteers to get on board on that planning team. So that's kind of an overview of the event. The other avenue that you can take, if maybe you aren't going to, to attempt sort of a 3 to 4 hour event, or for whatever reason, maybe you might be a little more interested in something that we're calling a gathering. And, the basics, the mission and vision for this are the same. This would be the same, but just done differently. So this is like a scaled down version of the larger scale event. And what I mean by that is that, you can meet multiple times, like 4 or more times, and then discuss one topic at each of the gatherings. Typically, these gatherings would last like 1 to 2 hours as opposed to a larger, longer span of time. And they're usually held in a smaller, more intimate meeting space. Some people might prefer trying the Detox program as a gathering, because it requires 2 team members, 1 to 2 team members instead of the 6 to 8. So it's just your preference and where you feel the Lord is leading you to reach out to women in your community. And we can support you with multiple resources, no matter which of those 2 avenues you choose. So I know that we have provided a bunch of information. And Nancy and I wanted to give you a chance to talk to us and ask some questions. So we're going to take a couple of minutes right now and answer any questions that the people on the call might have for clarification about the event and the gathering, or anything else that popped up while we started this call. Any questions?
Emma, I think if you're listening in, you may need to unmute yourself. When I tried to unmute everyone, if you're self-muted, it's not going to allow you to ask a question. So you'll need to unmute yourself to be able to talk. I did want to mention too, we didn't talk about this digital guide that we're working through, and this will actually be available to you. You'll be able to digitally go through what we talked about and find the information that you need, the different areas that you're interested in finding out more about.
Yeah, you don't have to memorize this. You're going to get it in your inbox. Okay. I know it's a lot of information. There's going to be another opportunity for questions in just a few minutes. Don't be shy. Like, I know that the session is being recorded, but if you're on the call and there's a lingering question there, feel free, because that's why we're here today. We want to support you and encourage you and answer questions. And if you have a question, chances are there's someone else who would have that same question. So don't be shy. We're happy to sort of walk you through this if something is confusing or whatever, moving on. Okay, so I think the way we're just going to give you sort of an overview of the event and the gathering, and I'll walk you through maybe the first steps of the event first. Okay, So your digital guide, you can see there are the options, and I'm just going to look into the first steps right here. The first step that we could click on would be gather a team. And you'll see that a team of 8 to 10 women plus breakout instructors are needed for a large event with an expo. That's the vendors at the tables that I was mentioning before. Events without an expo require more like 6 to 8 women on that team. But the typical roles that you need to be thinking of is an MC who can, host and move that program through. You will need breakout instructors. You'll need small group coordinator and facilitators, and that's going to make sense down the line. You'll need an expo coordinator, someone who can work with the different vendors who are coming out with exhibits. And you definitely want some help with setup and tear down. If once you're gathering your team, you want to keep in mind that asking women to sign up as a Stonecroft volunteer, and the link is in the digital guide. If you can see it at stonecroft.org/reporting, that allows us to support them as well, so that you get some reinforcement with your volunteers, and we can sort of encourage them along the way, or make them aware of certain resources and connect them to the organization. Okay, so gathering a team, those are some of the roles that you want to have in mind. And you can maybe pair up with one or two other people and ask them, do you know anybody who might be interested, or who has, like a crazy outgoing personality who would do a great job with the MC role, and you don't have to figure this all out on your own. You can maybe talk to a friend who you think would be a good co-host or co-leader, and you guys can sort of discern and pray together to find this team. Okay, so that's the first step for planning the event, or one of the first steps.
Hey, Emma, I just wanted to say that we do have a resource for this too, if you're planning an event, just helping you form the team. It's called Forming the Team, and that will also be in the email that we'll send out to you after this call.
Okay, so your next step for the larger event would be deciding on certain things, such as where. So a good venue is going to be, like I mentioned before, a public location, and it really should be an area or a location that has space for the different sessions to take place, because a lot of times you have, like, if you called them classrooms or like sessions like going on at the same time, you've got multiple ones sometimes. So it's good if they have a few different meeting areas for when everybody breaks out. And then some places that we've seen that have worked out really great are places like a school or many community buildings, libraries, theaters. And a lot of times if you tell them the mission, like what we're doing there, sometimes they'll give you a really discounted rate for the venue, or donate it, as long as you list them as, sponsors or thank them during the program. So that's those are some ideas about where you could hold this event. To decide when, you want to set a date and time that best fits the community of women who you're inviting. So you need to think this through. If you're trying to attract a certain or invite a large amount of 30 or 40 something women, you may not want to hold it in the middle of the workday, because a lot of them might be working. So you and your team can sort of decide that, but we suggest like picking a date 4 months out and then just sticking with it. That way you can start promoting and encouraging people to set that date aside and to make it a priority. The how of this, there are so many resources. There's a sample schedule and some program notes for you. There's a week-to-week checklist that's very helpful, and it sort of takes the tasks and makes them really bite-sized and makes the planning process a lot easier. We have promotional tools available for you. We don't want you to feel like you have to reinvent the wheel. A lot of what you will need as this unfolds is already done for you. So Nancy, do we want to show them at least the planning resources, just the list, and I won't go through them all?
Sure.
Is that an option? Awesome. Okay, so you can see we've got a ton of resources for you. And when you get the digital guide, you can go back here and see. But what we don't want is we don't want you to spend time or have your volunteers spending time making these things, because they're made for you already. And you can tweak them, like we give you editing rights and all sorts of things so that we can meet your needs and you can meet your community's needs. But all of these different things are available for you once you decide to move forward. So,
yeah, one thing to add is we actually have the breakout sessions outlined for you too. So some general ones that we found out were very popular. And so we have the spirit and the mind, and we're working on the body one. So you literally could pick up this packet and be able to do a detox pretty easily.
did we see some example topics, or are we not going to go through those yet?
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, we weren't done, were we? Choose out the breakout.
I know I talk a lot. So the breakout topics, you'll see when we get there, you'll see that there are some breakout topics that have been done that have gone really well. So we kind of gathered a list for like best practices. Of course, you can choose topics that that you want. I mean, your team can choose some different topics, some recommended topics for the body. We've got a really good one on body image, which seems to reach women in a very real way. And so we kind of suggest that one, and that's the one that we have available. But some other things that have been done for the body breakout session are like 5-ingredient cooking and sugar detox. I think I need that one. And Zumba is really fun. Like, it's fun if they have an exercise class and a way for people to interact. We've seen some like stretching sessions that have gone really well. The mind session that we recommend and have available is on setting like healthy personal boundaries. And that one comes with like scenarios, and they're kind of funny, you know, and real, you know, because we all need to revisit boundary setting. So we have found, you know, good feedback on that one. But you could also, for the mind sessions, you could talk about, you know, having a healthy mind. There's like a thought detox, keeping things positive. I saw one. There's one on stretching your money. And there was a cutting coupons one that was really good too. So there's lots of options for these. We just, you know, if you don't want to come up with your own breakout sessions, we do have these effective ones ready for you. And then for spirit breakout session, we've got unplugged journaling, which, I mean, there are some beautiful moments that I've seen sort of reveal themselves in that session. The unplugged journaling session, if you've not done that or experienced that before, if you've not seen it, it's definitely worth your time to look into, because it's just awesome. And then some other options for the spirit breakout session could be dream boarding, where they create their own little dream boards and goal setting. And it's sort of a good way for women to open their hearts up and share their dreams with one another. That's not always like, you know, casual coffee talk. So a session like that gets them to open up pretty quickly. And then there's one called Soul Rest Through Music and Art. So if if you're exploring some of these options and you wanted to talk about it, we can give you some other suggestions too. But chances are, if you showed a planning team, here are some of the topics, they might even have, you know, other ideas as well. People get really fired up about the topics. They get really excited. Okay, and then the other things, and I'm not going to take you through all of these buttons, but those would be the first steps. Okay, and then also available to you in the digital guide, and at our next call we can get into some of these other supportive things. But arranging for the expo, we have like some suggestions and some helpful tools for you as you arrange for the expo, as you gather breakout instructors. That will be available to you, and we have more information on that. And then on follow-up, like how to keep people plugged in or get them into community groups, or how to report your event back to Stonecroft or whatever. We have all sorts of resources for you for that too. But I think for today's call, we're just going to kind of give you that basic first steps in your journey as you're planning.
Okay, great. So that's the plan and event part. And you'll want to be in contact with your field director for that, because once you want to make sure you're registered at our stonecroft.org/detox. Fill out that form. Let us know that you're doing a detox if you haven't already. And then once you set your date, you'll want to be in touch with your field director so that once that date is set and you have a location, then you'll be able to take care of the funding aspect of it. We have a purchasing card, and our CFO will walk you through that. I believe he's on the line today, just listening in case you have questions about that. But that will start the process with getting it up online, getting your posters made, all of those things. So once you have the date set, just let your field director know, and we'll get you going on the funding aspect of it, and you'll be able to move forward from there. And we also have a detox kit that we send out once you have your date and your location, that will have a lot of follow-up material in it, as well as a lot of resources. I wanted to talk to you about the gathering, and it's more like a small group. So if you don't feel that you have the time or the resources or the volunteers available to do an event, there's also what Emma mentioned as far as a gathering. And we're just going to take you through the first steps of a gathering today too. And it's a lot smaller, a lot more intimate, like she said. And so the first thing you want to do is just find a friend, ask somebody to come along beside you. It's great to have somebody to bounce ideas off of, to help promote and invite, to share the hosting responsibility, and help with conversation at your gathering or at your small group type event that you'll be having. You definitely won't have a large expo or anything with that. Here are some options that other people during our development stage came up with ideas on how you could do that. You can hold it at a salon, and say you're wanting to do body image. You can hold it at a salon, have a few snacks out, and then do the beautician or the owner there could do a demonstration, and you can do just a small breakout and offer small groups from our small group resources after that. Or you could do it at a Zumba location and have an exercise class, and then possibly have a vendor that associates themselves with either the body or mind or spirit, whichever one you're going to focus on at that outreach, at that gathering, and then continue with small groups. And another option would be to also hold it at a salon, but have all three, body, mind, and spirit, in the same evening, or at different times, 3 different weeks, and have them come back. And then offer small groups to continue. You could even offer a walking group, or it doesn't have to be a written out study resource. So, or you could hold it in a home and choose those options too. So there's a lot of different ways and variations that you can take a detox, find your balance, and make it smaller, more intimate setting. So it only takes a few people to be able to put it on. And you would do the same thing with that if you were planning it. You would think about, okay, where would be a good location? Where would be a place where I can, get out of maybe my realm of people that I typically associate with and invite women to come to just a smaller gathering, and then decide again when. Set a time and a date for the topic get together that best fits the women that you'll be inviting. And then, along with all those resources that we saw, you'll just pick and choose a few of the things that you'll want to use. You may only want to use the Facebook banner and an invite that you could hand somebody if you're doing a smaller type of event. So, and then plan your follow-up, which we'll go through more in our next call in January. So those are the ways that you'd want to think about planning a gathering if you wanted to go that route. So does anybody have any questions? We've gone through a lot again, and I'm sure that there's probably some questions in your mind. So if you have questions, just go ahead and unmute yourself. Again, that can be done if you're online under the audio. Just click that little arrow beside it, or just click it's showing up orange if you've muted yourself, but you can unmute by just clicking that and it'll show up green, or go down to the attendees and just click the little microphone to unmute yourself. So does anybody have any questions? There's got to be questions out there.
Nancy, we did such a good job.
I guess so.
No questions. The good news is there's ongoing support. Like I hope you will, if you have a question, you'll ask. But we are here for you for ongoing support. It's not like this is your one shot. And your field director can give you a lot of guidance and support as you're sort of unpacking this. So.
Yeah, and again, if you haven't registered your detox, if you've decided, yes, I definitely want to do a detox, whether it's an event, whether it's a gathering, be sure to go to www.stonecroft.org /detox. You'll get to see the video that you didn't get to see here. Take a look at that. Look at our Facebook page. There's a link to the Facebook page there. And also scroll down, fill out Bring Detox to My Community, and that way we'll know, and you'll be included in the follow-up email that we're going to be sending out with the digital guide in it. We have the checklist that we'll be sending you so that you can get have that available, and the form a team, and yeah, this PowerPoint, or this digital guide. So you'll be able to you'll get all of that through email once you've registered at our site. And we'll be looking forward to another call in January. We're going to kind of take December off because we know everybody's thinking about other things, and we'll have a call in January that will go further and dive deeper into the follow-up, because that's a really important piece of the detox event and gathering.
Hey, Nancy.
Mm-hmm.
Are people on the call now going to have access to this recording so they could share it with like the person they're thinking about planning with, or like other hub leaders or anything like that?
Yes, actually, we can send that out with the email. If it's too large, I'll give you a Dropbox location that you can download it. It may be too large to go out in our email, but I can certainly put it out there and have it as a download from Dropbox for everyone.
Perfect.
So we're going to give you one last opportunity to ask questions. Okay. Well, Emma, I think that'll be it. If no one has any questions, we're going to sign off. But I thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate the time that you've taken out of your busy schedule to be here. And we really are excited at the thought of you doing detox and bringing detox to your community. We've seen we've seen quite a few women come to Christ through it. Emma was just part of a detox. When was that, Emma? In September, right?
Yep, the end of September.
Yeah, and
Yep.
you saw 6 women come to Christ through it at your detox. How many people came to that? We didn't talk about that, about how many people.
That event, we were blessed with, I think there were 55 to 60 who came as participants, but 6 of them came to Christ at the event, and it was incredible. Like, there were so many beautiful moments, like so many different, I guess, ages and backgrounds, and I mean, just women from all sorts of different walks of life came and shared together, and they were, it was beautiful. Like, I was so excited, and then, you know, at the end we gave them that opportunity, and it was just so amazing to be there for it, and to know that that was the decision they had made that changed their life forever, because of, you know, all these little plans and steps. They add up to something so much bigger, something so much more beautiful, you know, for the women who plan it, and for the women who enter God's kingdom. So we're honored to be part of your journey, as you are discerning your plan for your community. But I have to tell you that it's worth it 100% of the time when you do an event like this, or an outreach opportunity, and you bring Jesus to women, and women to Jesus. Like, it's so humbling to be part of it, and it's just, I'm so excited for you guys that you might get that opportunity in the next few months.
Okay, well, again, if you have any questions, be sure to contact your field director. You can always email us. I'll give you my email, and Emma will as well, and you can always email us as well, and we'll put you in contact with the people that you need to talk to. My email is nsprowls@stonecroft.org, and sprowls@stonecroft.org. And Emma?
And mine is ereynolds@stonecroft.org, and I am sending it as a chat button as well. So it's ereynolds@stonecroft.org. And like Nancy said, like, we can sort of, if you're not sure who your field director is, or if you, I don't, accidentally stumbled into a call, or don't know what to do next or who to talk to, you can absolutely contact one of us. We're so happy to support and encourage you and plug you in where you need to be to make this happen.
Okay, well, thank you for joining today, and that will be the end of our call, and watch for an email within the next few days with all this information. Thanks again.
God bless.
Bye-bye.